Hey guys, Marty from VFab here. Today I'm just out in the shop. I had a fellow YouTuber, friend of the family as well, has his own YouTube channel, Seek Adventures. I highly suggest you go check him out. He's doing a one-off camper build from scratch, and it's going to be quite something when he's done. But anyway, he reached out to see if possible that I could help him do a little bit of tack work on the corners. He has it all riveted. It's going to be completely solid when it's done. Here's what we have. As you can see, we have that's the scrap, or those are the scrap leftovers that he gave me to use, and you can see they're dirty. And aluminum, yes, it's complicated at times. It's more frustrating than complicated, in my opinion. But we're gonna take some time and we're gonna clean these up a little bit, and I'll go through some processes just that I do for some tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. All right. So I set out a few things here. I set out a little trick I use to clean aluminum is white vinegar. Do not use brake clean, please. It's very toxic to your health when you get it heated up. Not good. A few things I used to do that I learned down the road that's not so good to use is great for steel, not for aluminum. You just impregnate that wheel and all the sand and debris and everything else, and your cleaning action has to dig in and try and pull that all out. It doesn't work, honestly. Some files, clean up all the burrs and the edges and stuff that's laying there. Use your white vinegar, wipe the stuff down. As you can see, just out of how dirty that was. So I'm gonna file these down, set up the welder on basic settings. Nothing confusing, nothing to make you feel uncomfortable, just straight ahead. So basically what we're doing here is he sent me all the corner plates in every different size, thickness of metal. I don't know if you can see them there and stuff like that. He's very thorough with his stuff, and it's nice to have somebody take the time to do that for you. So instead of just showing up with a bunch of different aluminum and metals and having to figure it out, Steve reached out to me here probably at least 2 months ago. It's a great project that he's doing. So anyways, I was grateful that he gave me all this stuff. And let's go ahead and clean this up. Like I said, we'll get back to setting up the TIG and stuff like that. All right. Over the years of grinding those, everybody's got their own way, 30 degree, 50 degree, 80 degree, whatever degree you want to put a blunt nose, crayon tip, round bulb. So I just put it in, I drilled a small hole in here in the grinder, turn it on. Sharpens. Perfect for me. Quick little tip. Yes, you can put your machine on DC negative and ball it up on a piece of steel, but I found honestly, once you get going, it's going to ball and form to its own shape anyways. So, little tip that I learned along the way is use a little hand grinder. It's quick, it's simple, and gets the job done. So I'm going to set this up. Also, another thing, guys, with TIGs, when you're loading these, back the back piece off. Bring your tungsten out to whatever cup you're using, roughly a decimal equivalent to how far it can stick out. If you're using a number 7, it's 7/16 of an inch of tungsten that can come out. So tighten your cup up, nothing has to be over tightened, and then tighten your back collar up, and it's tight every time. So that's if your tungsten's loose on you and you got everything tight, you don't need to crank that down. Just loosen this off a little more and then tighten this one in, and it'll suck it all down. So I have some 3/16 and 1/8 inch. Sorry, I couldn't find the paper. I knew what they were, but I just wanted to double check. I set the machine up a little higher. Some guys will preheat their aluminum. That's great too. Like, you can hit it with a torch, and I'll show you the difference. Maybe it'll hot start it. It helps a little bit for some people, but I got it set up at 145. It's a little bit high sometimes, but I'd rather have more on the pedal than not enough. The machine's got to be an AC. Machines, basically, I'm leaving it on its auto cycle for cleaning. set the machine up. I'm not touching any of the parameters. I'll get into that someday with you down the road. Half the time I don't even use them, honestly. Basic setups sometimes are the simplest. See, it's a water-cooled machine. I started out with a longevity 200 amp. Machine did a pile of work for me. I had to get a different machine, and this one come up on a buy and sell around here, and I scooped it up at what at the time was, compared to now, was an extremely good price. So you don't have to go sink yourself thousands and thousands of dollars to go buy a TIG welder. I just lucked out that I got this at a good price, hustled, and made it happen. I started out with a cheap Chinese-made longevity and had great results with a lot. Some of the projects in that last video were of that machine that I used. A longevity 200 AC/DC TIG, non-water, straightforward machine, cheap to buy, and it gets anybody going, really, honestly. All right, I'm gonna get my helmet on and see if we can tack this up. I set it up in here just because I don't have like a big clamping bench or anything like that. I just have a basic bench. Okay. Try and put a little bead on here and see what our heat settings are again. Also guys, pick yourself up a pair of 1.5s or 1.75s. I know everybody says their eyes are good. It makes a big difference to check your puddle and watch for your puddle and stuff instead of it just helps, trust me. Anyways, let's just see what we can get here. The machine's gonna make a loud noise when the fan kicks in, so. I used every bit of that 145 amps, and I could have used more. That's why we're testing right now, just to see. Started out black and dirty on me in the first. That's a lot of that's to do with the tip not being rounded off and it's burning and sitting around there, but I don't know if you can see it. It's an okay pass. It's not perfect by any means, but that's why I'm doing the testing. So I'm going to flip it over and put some heat to the other side and see what we got after we cool it down. Basically, I was in here the other night. I don't know if you can see it, a piece of plate that I had to do. I'm looking, that's satisfactory to me right there. I don't know if you can see it or how well, but that's a heat setting that was 135 amps on 3/16 plate, but I'm using two different types of metal here. So I'm gonna flip that. That's why we're testing. All right. I turned it up to 160. We'll give that a little try. Another tip too, wipe your filler rod down too with the vinegar. It helps. It takes a lot of the black stuff off and gives you a little bit of a cleaner weld. And also I cut mine in half. I know it looks super cool to be able to take a 3-foot rod and fill it, but that's not reality because they're dangling over your back, and give her if you like it, but it's not for everyone. All right, stay tuned here. Let's see what we can get. Of course, your nose gets itchy right when you do stuff. It's not always the way. I can already tell I had a lot better heat sink with that. I'll show you here what it is, and I balled it up. It's still okay. There's dirt in it. I switched to I believe it's an E3 tungsten, and I don't honestly think it likes my grinding wheel. But but still it heated okay. It got good penetration. But I'm gonna try cleaning it to a crayon point this time, and then we'll go again. So I went back and did it on the bench grinder this time. I put a brand new disc on that, and obviously there was some particles that got embedded into it. My stupid mistake. But I know you can't see from there, but I went to the crayon tip, just on the bench grinder, turn it down like that, spin it and rotate as you go. You can use your drill on it too. It helps. Again, guys, I'm just a backyard. Try and make it work. I'm not a professional. Everything I do, you don't have to follow along. I know I don't do things the same as other people do. I just try and make things work with what I got around and go from there. So I'll try it again here. I'll show you where I started and stopped, because I'll leave a little stop mark there. Try to get my spectacles on. See it. That's the second one with the crayon tip. It worked much better. Oh, she's a little warm. And that's the first, that's the sharpened in the tungsten again, and that's the crayon. It laid in okay. So, as many times as you tell yourself, don't touch it because it's hot, guaranteed you'll grab it. Ask me how I know. So there's the number one we did. It wasn't quite hot enough, and I was shaky as can be, like really shaky. But it laid in. There's number two. There's number three. Now these are two thickness metals. You're washing the thicker stuff up into the thinner stuff, filling as you go. So not perfect. It is what it is. So we can do a flat pass here and just see what we have too. Just done. I can grab. I'll grab another piece here, because that with aluminum too, you gotta let it. You'll only go so far with it, and it'll get hot, and it looks like solder, honestly. So let it cool. Do a pass. Let it cool down. Take an air nozzle, blow it off. Do whatever you got to do. Go throw it in the snow. Then dry it all off good, of course. Blow it and wipe it down again. It's not like it's steel. Aluminum is fussy. It's temperamental sometimes, especially the thinner stuff. But anyways, I'll chalk up a new piece here. I'll try a little piece of 3/16 right here. And just lay a pass on the top, see how it turns out. So I went back down to the 135 amps. We'll just lay a little pass on the top here and just see if we get some heat settings in this right again too. It's all about comfort, guys, and I don't have a very comfortable setup right here. Usually I use a vise that the camera's in, and I can lean right on the table, so there we go. Tell by the sound. A lot of it. You can really honestly tell by the sound. You want to back out slow. Once you get your heat settings, personal preference and practice, and it's seat time. Honestly, it's not hard. It's just seat time. And people that are scared to go do this stuff, you want to do it, do it. It's go get yourself a machine and don't sell yourself short. Like I say, people make things way more complicated than they need to be to make themselves feel way more important than they actually are. And it's sad, but it's true. And it's time people start to go back to the knowing how stuff works and building and taking the time to just have fun. It's therapy to me.